What distinguishes attachment from obsession? Let's get into detail. Attachment is a natural and essential part of human relationships. It helps us feel safe, loved, and connected. When it's healthy, attachment builds trust, emotional security, and the confidence to explore life while knowing we have support. However, when attachment becomes insecure or excessive, it can lead to fear of abandonment, jealousy, emotional dependence, and difficulty letting go of unhealthy relationships. The same bond that gives us comfort can also create anxiety if it's rooted in fear rather than trust. That's why understanding and developing secure attachment is so important for emotional well-being. Obsession, on the other hand, refers to persistent, intrusive thoughts, urges, or fixations that dominate an individual's mental space and often interfere with daily functioning. While commonly associated with obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, obsession in the context of relationships involves an excessive preoccupation with another person, typically driven by unmet emotional needs, anxiety, or an insecure attachment style. The individual's sense of self-worth and stability becomes dependent on the other person's attention, presence, or approval. This often leads to compulsive behaviors such as constant checking, overthinking, jealousy, or attempts to control the other person. Unlike healthy attachment, obsession is characterized by a lack of emotional autonomy and a heightened fear of rejection, abandonment, or loss, making the bond feel more like a compulsion than a connection. Obsession reflects a dysregulated attachment system and often signals unresolved trauma, low self-esteem, or difficulties with emotional self-soothing. Obsession and healthy attachment involve strong emotional connections to another person and a desire for closeness and connection. However, while they may appear similar on the surface, such as frequent thoughts about the other person or seeking their attention, the underlying psychological processes are very different. Healthy attachment is characterized by emotional regulation, mutual respect, and emotional autonomy. Individuals maintain a stable sense of self-worth independent of the other's presence and trust the relationship's stability. In contrast, obsession arises from distorted thinking patterns and poor emotional regulation, where an individual's identity and sense of security become entangled with constant need for the other person's attention, validation, or presence. This often results in compulsive and intrusive thoughts, anxiety-driven behaviors like persistent monitoring or excessive reassurance seeking, and an overwhelming fear of abandonment or rejection. Unlike attachment, obsession is less about connection and more about relieving internal distress, which makes the relationship feel like a compulsive, anxiety-fueled cycle rather than a healthy bond. Such patterns frequently stem from unresolved emotional wounds, low self-esteem, and difficulty managing intense emotions independently. And remember, healthy attachment means you check in with your partner, not their entire search history.